weekend and you're off to a great start this morning. It's sort of weird to get up so early and get all dressed when we're all sequestered at home, but I'm delighted to be here. My name is Kristin Kaufman. For those of y'all whom I've not met before, and perhaps you're stumbling across this page for the first time, and I'm in the business now of helping people build the lives they want without giving up the creature comforts that they want. And for those of y'all whom I've not met, I'm what I call a recovering corporate executive. And so today, in my first Monday morning, Have a Seat with Kristin session, I wanted to talk a little bit about how I jumped off the high board and began to create the life that I'm living now, which is what I call a portfolio entrepreneurial lifestyle. And I have 4 little guideposts that I want to share with you all to help people that perhaps are stuck or perhaps are not really sure how to create the life they want. What 4 guideposts I learned actually from interviewing and working in writing my second book in the Is the Seat Taken book series. And this book is actually about people just like me and perhaps just like you that wanted to reinvent their lives, and in some cases as late as the age of 87 in one specific example. And so I interviewed a lot of these people, I researched a lot of these people, and I found 4 common denominators that I thought would be helpful to write about in my book, but also particularly to share this morning. So before I get started, I'd love to hear where you're from. So if you want to comment below and let me know where you're coming in from, so that I'll have a feel for who you are and where you're coming from. And also, I'm going to offer up an actual handout of a recap of what I'm going to talk about this morning. And in order for you to get it, all you have to do is just put in the comment section below the word guidepost, because I'm going to share 4 guideposts that helped me shift my business and helped me shift my life. And I wanted to actually share those with you all. So the first guidepost is to define success on your own terms. I think for years, actually for 35 something years, I was actually defining success based upon what society told me success needed to look like. I've never married. I don't have children, which, I would have loved to have had children, but I just never married. I never met the person that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. So I became a single career woman. And I actually, good morning, Roxanne. I actually built my life single, right? Just as I am now. And I think so many times we embrace the definition of society that society gives us is what success should look like. Married, 2.5 kids, big corporate job. And I loved my corporate job. So let me just be clear. I loved my corporate job for many, many years. And then I woke up. Good morning, Dawn. Good morning, Ellen. I just reached a point where I had lost the plot, frankly, as far as why I was doing what I was doing. It was no longer fulfilling to me. And I needed to define success the way it made sense in my life. And that was when I formed my company, Alignment. And the way I defined alignment was loving what you do, being good at it, but most importantly, having it tied to something much greater than yourself. And when we find that, tying it to something much greater than yourself, that really gives us the fuel to keep on keeping on, because we have a passion for it. We have a desire to do that. So defining success on your own terms, however you define that, is really the first guidepost to creating the life that you want. And in this book, my second book, the success definitions ranged anywhere from becoming a hospice chaplain at age 60 to becoming a folk painter at age 87 to building a chain of fast food restaurants to swimming the English Channel. Everyone had a different definition of success, but it was what made them tick, and it was really what made them create the life that they wanted. So that's the first secret or the first guidepost. Define success on your terms, and don't let anyone define it for you, because that's when I think we get lost and we begin to live someone else's life and not our own. All right, the second guidepost, and this is one that all 3 of my books have in common. And ironically, I had not really thought that this was going to be a common denominator when I began to write these books, but it absolutely did become a foundational principle for my life and also for these books. And that is, incidental encounters are not incidental at all. So oftentimes we might be standing in line. Well, in yesteryear, when we could stand in line without having a mask on our face, we would, or sit next to somebody on an airplane or on a bus or on a train, and we would meet these people that are, I call them angels, frankly, because I do think that they are. We meet these people that cross our paths, and sometimes we're receptive to it, and sometimes we're like, good Lord, he's 400 pounds and he's sweating like a pig, and he's sitting in the middle seat next to me, and I'm on the window seat, and you're thinking, why is he sitting here next to me? But those incidental encounters are absolutely not incidental at all. And the people that have crossed my path in my life that have shifted my complete perspective on life, or really my trajectory in life, are the ones that really, well, they made the first book, frankly. The very first book I wrote were about these incidental encounters that shifted my entire perspective and really enriched my life. So the second guidepost is pay attention and stay present. I call it, you have to be present to win. Stay present to those people or those experiences that happen to you that perhaps you didn't plan out at all. And, it's been sort of amazing to me, especially when I was writing these 3 books, about the people that made an impact on me, and they made that lasting impression that really shifted the way I led my life and actually why I'm living the life that I'm living now. So that's the second principle. Incidental encounters are not incidental at all. And in order for us to really embrace that, we have to be present and awake to those people, whether they are people that we really thought we wanted to have in our life, or perhaps they just happened upon our life, because they are here to teach us something. And 9 times out of 10, it's something to teach us about ourselves. So that's the second principle. And for those of y'all who've just joined, if you want a copy of the 4 principles that I'm sharing, just type the word guidepost in the comments section, and you will get a copy of these 4 principles that really were the foundation for this second book that I wrote in my Is the Seat Taken book series. Okay, the third principle, or the third guidepost. We always have the power of choice. Right now, we don't control most of what's happening to us. Most of us did not think 60 days ago that we were going to be confined to our house and we were going to have to order groceries online and go pick them up or have them delivered. We weren't going to be able to fly. We weren't going to be able to socialize with people. That is something that is completely out of our control. But what we do control is we control our ABCs. And these were what my dad used to tell me. My mom and daddy are both not with me anymore, but they are with me, if you know what I mean. But dad used to say, Kristin, you do not control anything really except your ABCs, your attitude, your behavior, and your choices, period. That's really all we have control over. But boy, that's a lot. That is a lot. So we always have the power to choose. So for those of you who perhaps are stuck in your current positions or your jobs, or maybe you're just not fulfilled, or maybe you were like me 16 years ago where you just kind of lost the plot about why you were doing what you were doing, just remember that we always have the power to choose. And one size does not fit all. I mean, I'm a huge believer in having multiple businesses, multiple revenue streams. In fact, I wrote a blog about that yesterday, about how we absolutely can be multi-biz people. We weren't created to be one-dimensional. We were created to be multidimensional and multifaceted. And so therefore, we have the power to choose how we want to create, what we want to create in our lives, how we want to contribute in our lives, and where we want to invest. So that is point number 3. The guidepost number 3 is we have the power of choice, and we have the ability to basically make and create the life that we want. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4. And this is going to sound perhaps a little woo-woo, but I'm a huge believer in this principle, because at age 58, I'm 58, sometimes you can think, especially when you haven't followed a conventional lifestyle, that, wow, what am I really, really here for? And the 4th guidepost is, if we are alive, we have a purpose, period. Age is a privilege. And just because I haven't created the life that so many people have created, married, 2.5 kids, grandkids. I mean, we had Mother's Day yesterday. I'll never be a mother. I mean, I'm a mother to Lulu, my four-legged furry friend, my little miniature schnauzer, but it's not the same, and I'm not confused about that. However, I absolutely believe that I have a purpose. And my mother and daddy, I've faced death 3 times. I've nearly passed on 3 times in my life. And my first encounter with mortality, my mom and dad said, wow, you really have a reason for being here. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And so all of us who are on this planet, who are listening to this video, or taking a breath every day, there is a reason why we are still here. If we are alive, we have purpose. And so our responsibility, our sacred responsibility, is to embrace life and to embrace whatever purpose we believe we are to fulfill. And that, to me, is our sacred responsibility. And as long as we have breath, we have a reason for being here. So that is my fourth guidepost as far as how to create and build the life that you want. Let's just recap. 1, define success on your own terms. Let no one tell you what success is. You define your success. You define your life. 2, incidental encounters are not incidental. So if somebody crosses your path or you stumble across a video like this, there's a reason for it. There just simply are not accidents. There are just not accidents. Everything is divinely providential, and we are absolutely to embrace whatever it is that comes across our path, good and bad, right? We're to learn from all of that. The third, we have the power of choice. We control our ABCs, our attitude, behavior, and choices. So we can shift and pivot all day long, because that's the one thing that we have power over. And then the fourth is, if you are alive, if you are breathing, you have a purpose and you have a reason for being here. So those are my 4 guideposts. And if you'd like a copy of those to put up on your mirror or to share with your children or your husband or your fellow coworkers, just type in the word guidepost, and I will be sure that you get that as soon as possible. Okay. I'm going to be doing this every Monday at 8 o'clock, and I'm doing this at the request of my my clients and my followers, because we just need to have that community, and I'm going to try to create that here every Monday morning at 8 o'clock, which means I have to get up, put on my lipstick, and comb my hair, which is, we all know, we don't always do in this new quarantine world. So I hope you'll join me every Monday. I'll be sure to send out reminders as best I can. And if for any reason you would like to have a conversation with me, and perhaps I can help you determine what your next steps are or how to prioritize where you want to go, I'm going to put my Calendly link below in the comments as well, so that if you want to set up a time with me, let's just do it. It's so easy. And I love that easy tool, Calendly, because it gets you on the calendar, and then we can actually have a short conversation, and perhaps I can help you as you determine where and how you want to go in your life. So with that, make it a wonderful Monday and a wonderful week. Again, my name is Kristin Kaufman, and I'm now in the business as a recovering corporate executive and full-fledged portfolio entrepreneur in the business of helping people create the lives that you want without losing the creature comforts that they want. And yes, it is definitely possible that we can do that. And yes, we can do it from home. So make it a great week. And thank you so much for joining me.